Hello, everybody. We are Geeks Assembled. I'm joined as usual by Susan over there. This week we are discussing a movie which is based on one chapter of a book, a very famous book, by Bram Stoker. Have you guessed what it is yet? Yes, it's Dracula, but this is the chapter based on the Captain's Log. That's what the chapter was called, Captain's Log, of the voyage of Dracula overseas to England. And this is the last voyage of the Demeter. So this fills in the story of that voyage. So we're going to go over to Susan for her opening thoughts on the last voyage of the Demeter. Over to you.
Thank you, Lee. Well, I love the book. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. Um, it's such a rich minefield. I mean, like there's so much there to dig out and to evaluate and to examine. It's a beautiful story. It's very Victorian. And the aspect of this story that is so intense, this part of this story that is so intense, is the fact that it takes place on a ship sailing right round to the Bosphorus Straits into the Mediterranean, and then to to the Strait of Gibraltar into the Atlantic, and then up the English Channel to the Isle of Whidbey, the the shore, and then after that, which the wolf dog creature departs from the shipwrecked ship. So I mean, because we've all read the book or have seen the whole story in many movies, you know, the beginning, the middle, and the end of this story is all really basically completely completely transparent. Like, you there's no surprises here. What is at the the most the thing that makes this most horrible is that it is a sealed environment on
Mm-hmm.
the ship, and and you never get sort of a comic relief or a breathe, like an emotionally relief, any emotional relief from any of this power or this storytelling anger or storytelling fear, ferocity. It's it was starring Corey Hawkins as Clemens, and then also starring Liam Cunningham as Captain Elliot, and Elliot was writing down these encounters with the Dracula character, who is sealed, ostensibly sealed in cartons of soil in the hold of his ship, the Demeter. Demeter was a ship that was actually named after the goddess that was at the same level, at the same power structure as like Zeus and all those other characters, because she was one of the daughters of uh, of the Titans. So anyway, that was an interesting story, and she was the goddess of agriculture and the goddess of life, And so that's the other little snide aside in this story, is that that in and of itself could have been thought of as a joke, because the power that she had as a goddess was creating a big core, a big pointed part towards the towards the darkness and the damnation of Dracula,
Mhm.
and the complete death that he brought on board that ship. Nobody survives. I mean, nobody does. I mean, it's just amazing. So anyway, like I just want to pass it back to you for your opening thoughts.
Well, yeah, it was an interesting take on the story. As you say, we all know this story so well, um, that you don't really think of the what happens to the crew in the book, because the ship is wrecked on the shore of Whitby, um, and all the crew are already dead. The captain's tied to the wheel, and it's a good idea how they've taken this from the captain's log and made this full length feature film. Um, yes, it's great setting. You get the sort of the Alien movie, that sort of feel. You're in one place. You're on the Nostromo, but this is the Demeter. Um, you get that sort of feel that and it's dark, it's gloomy, um, and because everybody knows nobody's going to survive this. So you're thinking, wow, from beginning to end, they're getting picked off one by one. Um, yeah, great acting in this. It was a bit of a shame that I didn't realise that the character of Clemens, the Doctor, was not in the chapter of the book. That character was made for the movie, um, which I don't
Yeah,
understand why they did.
that's why I
Yeah,
mentioned that, because he
yeah.
was
I don't know why. I don't know why they did that, because they could have had any of those characters playing that action figure, and why create another character? I just don't get that, because we know nobody survived. It's in the book, nobody survived. But at the end of this movie, who survives? And it
yeah.
sort of becomes a sort of a Van Helsing type character, out there to rid the world of this creature. Um, which I didn't like the ending of that at all. I wanted everybody to get slaughtered, but that's just me. Yeah, Captain Elliot, played by Liam Cunningham, is a well-known actor over here. He's been in loads of things, movies, TV. Then you've got the quartermaster, played by, how do you say his last name, Susan? David Dasmalchian.
Just Marlton.
Dashmash. He's been in a hell of a lot of movies just in the past 5 years. You know,
Walchek, yeah.
yeah, he's been in quite a few. So he's becoming quite a big character actor in Hollywood at the moment. Um, and I did like. I don't know about you. The design, the design, and also you got the young um, actor playing Toby, the grandson. Woody Norman, his name is. Wow, what a performance he's put in there for I don't know what he is, 14-year-old or something like that. Great performance. And then you go to the the design. of Dracula in this. Um, he's not formed as the man the Dracula we know. He he is uh, literally, I don't know, an 8 foot, 9 foot bat, isn't he? Man like bat.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
kind of like the Nosferatu.
the Nosferatu. But the features of him all reminds me of the vampire in Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot. With the eyes, the teeth. Um,
Yeah,
as you
I
say,
agree.
Nosferatu as well, Max Schreck. Um, yeah, it's dark, creepy, um, tale well told. But the only niggling thing about it for me, it wasn't scary. There was it need to be more. I don't know. There was. It's just I just can't put my finger on it. If it was for me, it wasn't scary enough. It just needed to turn that dial up to 11. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I
just
mean, it's because we knew the beginning, the middle, and the end.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
I thought they'd have added something else there just to get the juices flowing and think, wow, yeah, this is a great. I mean, it's a great story. Don't get me wrong, but there was just missing the scariness of it. So eh, back to you anyway, Susan.
I just liked how they used the Romani language, but I don't think that they understood that that many of the gypsies were
Mhm.
under his thrall. I
Yeah,
mean, and as someone who's hung out with some of the Romani people in my life,
for a minute, for a
I
minute,
could
for a minute, then I thought you were going to say you've hung out with vampires.
no like not yet, but the yeah the Romani people have they uh, a lot of the political power that they have is because they have a sort of a network into every nation on earth, and they have a small influence on everywhere. And
Mm,
so by doing that, they have an enormous power. And back in the Victorian times, that was actually something that Bram Stoker was like picking up on, because he allied them with Dracula, who he was trying to show as superpowered. I mean, if he was creating a a, a supervillain or a super romantic superhero um, at that point, and that's why the other thing is that what really would have made me feel like this was a stronger story was if he started off with that complexion and physicality of Nosferatu, and
mm,
then morphed into the romantic lead that you see in the rest of
yeah,
the Dracula book. If you saw him every time he drank blood, he became more, and he would absorb the personality of the person. And
yeah,
these sailors have a woman at every shore, and he had the women that were buried with him, and that it was all like coming and going, and being all sexy and romantic, eventually like
yeah,
starting off deeply scary and deeply disturbing and lots of body horror, and then becoming this other creature, which just shows you that's who he was, that's really who he is. Remember this about this character, because 10 years down the road he's going to be romancing all the people from Carfax Abbey, excuse me, and creating, his own sort of thing. until he messes with Mina Harker and Jonathan Harker and Lucy Westra and or Westrana, and I don't know. So like those are my things. It's like why were the Romani people against him? First of all, they weren't, and then second of all, why was he not becoming sexy? I
It
mean,
would
when
have
I saw
it, it would have
uh,
worked better, but the ending scene where he was in the tavern, where he was sat there watching Clemens, that he so if he'd have morphed then sort of human like, and
yes,
then he walked out as the vampire we all know and love.
we know and we do love. I mean,
But
because that is the dangerous reality that Bram Stoker uh, wound into his story was that this motherfucker could be really sexy.
mhm.
And he could want you to. I mean, he made you want to fuck dead, undead bodies. That's not a normal thing, you know. I mean, that's just not.
we're not into
That's not exactly copacetic in
we're not we're not into necrophilia in this group.
in polite cover polite congregations or what. Oh my gosh. And the other thing is like the shipwreck was, I mean, the shipwreck was amazing, and like the fact that the captain was lashed there at the end just as perfect. I mean, like that was that was great. I really liked how they did that. That was and the big monster wolf at the end jumping off the ship. I mean,
Yeah.
that was really, you're like, oh, let's see where he goes and stuff like that. So yeah, and then the police trying to, the Metro police weren't all that yet,
No, no,
right?
no, no.
Anyway, so so there were some disappointing parts and some really really great parts. It was pretty bloody, but it was super dark. It was shot at about the same color temperature and visibility as for most of it as the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Mm.
With all with that battle almost completely obscured by darkness
And fog.
and fog.
But when you
Yeah,
mentioned when you at the beginning of the cast, you mentioned the voyage where it come from through the Mediterranean, all the way around through up to the through the English Channel up to the North Sea. Um, when you say that, you realise they travelled a hell of a long way. You know, just
yeah.
just for the cargo, because you say you couldn't go through land by their quickest way was going by sea. Um, it,
And because the lore is that at that point Dracula was not allowed to travel over running water
mhm.
if he wasn't if he wasn't in dirt, and so there wasn't any way that there was any carriages or trains that
Yeah,
were robust enough to handle that yet.
but I'm saying having it crash, and I mean it's a stroke of genius what Bram Stoker did with the crashing the Demeter at Whitby. I'll tell you something. Whitby is a lovely place. I
Hmm.
mean, it's only 76 miles away from me
Oh,
up,
okay.
up, up the east coast. Yeah, it's only 76 miles away. It's not far. I've been to Whitby a couple of few, well, maybe more than a couple of times, and it is a very scenic place. People always go there and look for Dracula's grave. and they never found it.
The other thing that's really cool about the story is that they left from Varna,
Mhm.
Romania, or Varna, Bulgaria, and I don't. It didn't show this really, but Varna, Bulgaria is like the reason that it's so scenic is because I mean it's just these elaborate estates right up against the water, and there I mean there's sort of a huge long landing spit like 5 or 6 mile, or maybe not. Okay, maybe it's like a mile of landing bricks and
Yeah,
landing concrete now, but a landing spit for large ships. I mean, large ships like the Demeter was. And I just can't. I think that it would be amazing to have been in Bulgaria to see those that many huge tall ships. Oh my gosh.
yeah. And when, as I said, they were heading to London,
Uh-huh.
so they were way out of
They they
way.
had either they'd come all the way around the Isles and they were headed south to go in, or they had missed by
They,
the death of all their crew. They had
yeah,
missed the port of London
they missed,
entirely.
they missed it totally and gone past it up and travelled north up to Yorkshire.
Wow.
So, where
Wow.
I'm from, Yorkshire. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I said I do like the movie. It's very good. The effects in this are brilliant.
Hmm.
Um, say for me, it was just lacking the jump scares and scariness. That's what it needed.
Hmm.
It had all the atmosphere for it. I mean,
Hmm.
that one of the scenes where they're looking for the young boy is under the table and he looks around the corner
Hmm.
and he's crouched. You know, this man bat thing, just crouched in the corner, and you don't see it at first, and then all of a sudden
Right.
he starts to rise. You think, wow, he's
Right.
been there all the time.
Mm.
I mean, a great scene, but then nothing's
Yeah,
coming of
this
it.
man, that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's an incredible character.
If you can do it, so can I.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Oh my
But
gosh, it's just such a character.
yeah, yeah. It's to say there's several things that were set up. You think, oh, they're gonna do this, and they don't really. You don't, and they don't. You think, it'd have been better if there was a bit more, a bit more.
Well, you knew that not a single of the main characters were going to survive because first night out he ate all the livestock.
Yeah,
Like
and the
fifth
poor dog.
night, yeah, and fifth night out they ate the dog. He ate the dog.
Yeah,
Seventh night out he ate all of the rats and then started munching on the people. And then oh my gosh! And then they found that stowaway, but she was actually one of his future brides.
yeah. He was sort of slowly feeding her, wasn't he?
Yeah, like there was that happening. Oh my gosh!
But yeah, I
And
mean,
go ahead.
I did like the way they put the law in about the sunlight um, being
Oh
being
yeah,
the enemy of the vampire. Setting them alight as the sun hit them, and it's a
that was
great thing.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a great story, enjoyable story. But
Hmm.
it's got its faults here and there. But
Mhm.
for me personally, anyway.
Mhm.
Anything else, Susan?
Well, you know, one movie that was called Snakes on a Plane, and this was Bats on a Boat.
Yeah, that's true. But,
And
yeah,
later on this weekend, aren't we doing one that's called Wolves on a Train?
yeah. Well, it's our thing is transport. Um,
Oh my God. How to
dear.
transport the undead. Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
just it. But this is
So,
the end of our Halloween spooky season, so I just
well,
that was
seeing as Halloween ended about four nights ago, well, who cares?
exactly.
So you want to go final same score?
Yeah, sure. All
Over to
right.
you.
Um, the last voyage of the Demeter is really it's well written. It's well acted. It's got a great it's got a great ambiance to it. It's got a really good sort of bookend in the dog in the first scene, the dog in the last scene, and then there's like then there's all the carnage that happens. But the fact that Lee didn't find too scary, and I didn't really find it was I didn't find that it was that the Dracula was made sexy enough by the end. I needed him to end up looking like Frank Langella or Gary Oldman or even Boris Karloff or Christopher fucking Lee. Oh my God, these guys knew how to make Dracula sexy, and that's where it had to end. It had to land there at some point, but it never did. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was my those are my beefs. So I'll give it 9 out of 10. Uh, crates of dirt. I've got a crate of dirt. I've got a crate of dirt. Out of 10. Anyway, thanks.
Um, oh, mm, you see, yeah, it's visually it's great. Acting, you can't fault the acting. Um, the setting is amazing. Um, but as we've mentioned, Susan's mentioned it. There's not enough scary sexy. Not enough scary sexy in this, and that's where it falls down for me.
Hmm.
So for just that reason alone, I'm going to give this 8 Brides of Dracula out of 10.
Hmm.
Um, it's a good movie to watch, but as I say, if you do watch it, you may, as we've said, think there's things missing. There should be things in this to make it just that little, that 10 out of 10. Um, but enjoyable all the same. So that's our little review of The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which came out, was it last year? I think it was. Yeah. As I said,
Yeah.
never released in the cinemas in the UK for some reason, and
I don't
never.
understand why not. It's
Yeah,
so good. Anyway,
and it's been
but
quite, and it's not even released on physical copy in the UK. So this is the
oh,
American version, which came
oh,
out
okay.
came out about maybe a month ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but yeah. So that's our little review, guys. If you've had the good luck to watch it, you know, let us know what you thought of the movie. Leave the message below on this video.
Please do.
We You'll find this video on most of the social media platforms because we share it about. So you just leave a message below on the video. Let us know what you think of our videos. as we say, leave a message. Give us a little thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you want to do. It all counts. And also, if you would like to join us doing what we do now, like this, as I said, leave a message. We'll have to get some t-shirts printed up and just leave a message. Yeah, leave a message. You've got to be an 18 plus though, because as I say, some things we discuss, some films, some TV shows, some audios, whatever, are 18 rated, and we don't want to get into trouble. So 18 plus if you want to be on these. All you need is a working camera and a microphone on the device you use, and we'll try and get you involved whenever we can. So, if you want to be part of our gang, just drop us a line. Anything else, Susan? Have I missed anything?
Subscribe and ring the bell.
Ring that bell on the channel so you get notified every time we put the videos up.
Okay.
So that is it. I'm off now to. I think I fancy a bit of rat. Just a little peckish. I'm just going to bite a little rat. So I don't know what Susan's after, but I'm going to go for a bit of rat.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely. Ratatouille. Mm.